Okay, so remember they're changing my voice. Here's part 3 to help you understand the differences. Now let's go over here. You know, before I get into Proverbs 1, let me remind you that in Revelation, Jesus said that he is the root and offspring of David and the bright morning star. In another version of it, he says he is the heir to the throne. Okay, he is the descendants, right? He's the heir of the throne. He's the source and the heir to the throne. Okay, so who's the heir? Who deserves to be in charge? This is a key argument of mine, a core argument of mine. Now we have to read Proverbs to understand that. Okay, we have to read Proverbs chapter 1 especially. And Proverbs in the last chapter ends talking about women, right? And the word seal is a play on words for lay see or see lay, right, without the Y. Okay, among other things. Okay, seal and deal. Okay, rhyme and reason. Okay, and the word deal is lead scrambled. So that is key in this. Okay, the root and offspring of David, right? The heir to the throne. The different translations of that verse in Revelation, I believe it's 22, 15, or 16, somewhere around there or something. Okay. Okay, so just like with the Empire and Star Wars, the white man, the so-called white man, the so-called Jew and LGBT communities, the core, their governing class, the people who give them their marching orders, and they try to force everyone else to do what they say too, and basically everyone but me is doing what they say. Okay, they believe in like the show, right? They believe in the Empire, you know, Palpatine and Vader and the uniforms of the Empire and putting on a show. They don't believe in actually doing the right thing. So to them, they would argue that Lex Luthor and Prince Humperdinck are closer to the idea of God's chosen, okay, them and King George and George Washington, than someone like Yoda, okay, than the idea like that, okay, than that idea, because they're about show, not humility and heart and serving God and courage and moral precision, which I embody far more than the character Yoda, obviously. Okay, so purpose and theme, right? It says, what is the first section of Proverbs? It says, what's the purpose of Proverbs? You know, martial artists use Proverbs. There's Buddhist Proverbs. These are Christian Proverbs. These are Jewish Proverbs. This is the Old Testament. What is the purpose of Proverbs? And how does it show us that we have to interpret the New Testament and the Bible within the boundaries of Proverbs? In Isaiah 28:17, where justice is the measuring line and righteousness is the plume line. So to shoot through this, I went through it in the other video, but we have to remind you because this is critical here. Okay, the Proverbs of Solomon, son of David, king of Israel. Christ says in the New Testament, even Solomon in all of his glory, in all of his splendor, was not dressed like the lilies in the field. His spirit didn't seem to shine like the lilies of the field. For gaining wisdom and instruction, for understanding words of insight, for receiving instruction in prudent, right, diligence, right, scrambling to do what's right, behavior. Doing what is right and just and fair. Okay, doing what is right and just and fair. Again, Isaiah 28:17. Justice is the measuring line and righteousness is the plume line. Hail will sweep away your refuge lie and water will overflow your hiding place. The living water of God, righteousness will sweep it away. When compared to the idea of a righteous person, the churches and everyone else, except for my parents who are blameless because they had me and I'm the fruit of their womb, they fail, okay, the test of righteousness and justice. As we measure them, as we measure the presidents and the police and the military, as we measure these people who are sabotaging, as we measure everyone else, they don't measure up. They don't equal. We put them on the scales. We weigh their heart. We weigh their life-based action, their praise. They're praising worldly things and theater arts and propaganda and psychology and lies. They practice falsehood. And they like a contrast game where they sabotage people, you know, like Jim Crow, right? It's this guy with this, you know, these poor, you know, these rags on. And there's a bunch of rich white people like, yes, we're from the church and we're important, and it's stupid, and they persecute me, and it's retarded as hell, and it's disgraceful as hell. And again, it's part of why I'm not proud to be part white. I'm glad that I'm not from a white patriarchal line because they refuse to man up. So they've defined their patriarchal line a certain way. They're patriarchal lines. And they have the fascist symbol, the fasci, which is a bunch of basically phallic symbols, penis symbols that are grouped together into one stick because they don't stand on their own 10 toes. They said, let's throw in together. It's more than just their armies. it's the essence of their masculinity that they found was insufficient. That's what that symbol stands for, because we see it play out that way. Okay? And they have the nerve for the core of their governing class, the most arrogant of them all, the most unworthy of all, to be persecuting me for them to try to seem ideal, and so on and so forth. Okay. Remember, I'm part white, not racist. These are just the facts. If you think I'm wrong, please put in the comments. Okay. For giving prudence to those who are simple, knowledge and discretion to the young. Let the wise listen and add to their learning, and let the discerning get guidance. For understanding proverbs and parables, the sayings and riddles of the wise. So what did Jesus say? Okay, it's for understanding proverbs and parables, right? For understanding the chapter, the book itself. The sayings and riddles of the wise. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Okay, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of the knowledge of what? Of mathematics, of chemistry? No. Of knowledge of God. All those things are just man's understanding. It's silly stuff. So you can invent a few cute things, but you don't understand the variables. You don't understand where it's coming from. The only knowledge that truly matters is knowledge of God, which comes from being in the divine order, walking in the way of righteousness along the path of justice. Goes back to Proverbs 8:20, Isaiah 28:17, and here we have in Proverbs 1:3, okay, it's for receiving instruction on how to scramble, with your behavior, with your actions, prudent behavior, doing what is right and just and fair. This is key here because it's going to rule out everyone else definitively and their offspring definitively without a speck of hope after my flesh has died. Pay close attention. Prologue. Exhortations to embrace wisdom. So it says, embrace wisdom. Don't be an ill-gotten gains wuss who's like, look at my ill-gotten gains, though. Look how handsome I am. Look at my money and my scientific achievement and my social status and my celebrity status. Okay? It says, don't be